Ultimately, the APNU-AFC coalition wants the Supreme Court, after hearing its petition, to cancel the March 2nd, 2020 polls, which saw it losing the seat of government, and order fresh polls within 90 days. But more importantly, the APNU-AFC wants a quick and expedited hearing of its petition, which was filed on Monday. One of the filing attorneys, Royalsdale Ford, said he's concerned that political interference will serve to thwart the early hearing of the matter.
What we're concerned about is interference, political interference in the judiciary that will serve to thwart the early hearing of the matter. And that is what we're asking all the Guyanese for. We're asking the media, civil society, and all international organizations to ensure and to recognize that the filing of the election petition is a critical part of the entire electoral process. It does not end with the declaration by the chairman. And we want an early, quick, and expedited hearing of the petition.
Ford is among the four attorneys representing the two applicants, Claudette Thorne and Heston Boswick, both residents of Georgetown. The filing attorneys are Ford, along with Trinidad Senior Counsel John Jeremy, Raphael Trotman, who's also chairman of the opposing party, AFC, and Olene Joseph. Following the filing of the petition, former president and leader of the APNU-AFC coalition, David Granger, spoke to members of the media outside of the High Court and said the coalition is confident it had enough evidence to prove that the elections were poorly managed and lacked credibility. Mr. Granger and the coalition, by extension, is claiming, among other things, that there were stuffed ballot boxes, missing documents, more votes than voters, ghost voting, and voter impersonation.
The coalition has pursued a lawful and a peaceful course. And we are confident that if the courts justly and correctly and fairly examine our petition, there will be a different outcome. So I ask you to continue to abide by the law and to await the outcome of the court.
It was Ford who insisted that the coalition will not be using its statements of polls, saying it was not relevant to what the APNU-AFC was asking the court to determine.
As we've said repeatedly, the election was not decided on the statement of polls. The elections was decided on the recount. If we're challenging the results of the elections, it must be on the basis of the statements of recount and those documents. So as Mr. Granger said earlier, and the party has said repeatedly, we long past that stage.
Yes. So you're not going to produce the statements of polls?
It is not relevant to the issues that we're asking the courts to determine. The election was decided on a recount using statements of recount.
If they succeed in their case, the petitioners are seeking orders from the court to declare that elections were so badly held that the results from it cannot be deemed to be the will of the people. At the same time, they want the court to throw out the elections and have David Granger declared as president under those very elections they claim were conducted against the electoral laws and constitution of the country. The petitioners want the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, to use the vote count from the 10 returning officers to declare the results of the election. That would include the District 4 vote count, which has been condemned as fraudulent. The petitioners contend that the Chief Elections Officer was not required to use the data from the National Voter Recount to produce his elections report from which the elections were declared. Alternatively, the petitioners want the court to order fresh elections in 90 days after its ruling on the case. Kurt Campbell, Newsroom.